Polling stations have opened in parts of India as the second phase of the country's general election gets underway. One of the constituencies voting today is in Srinagar, the main city in Indian-controlled Kashmir. A security lockdown has been imposed on the city, where several parties have called for a boycott of the election. Kashmir featured heavily in campaigning after a suicide attack there brought India and Pakistan to the brink of war in February. A total of 95 constituencies across India are casting ballots today. India's election is taking place in 7 stages over a 6-week period ending next month. Let's bring in DW's Nimisha Jaiswal. She's following the elections for us from Delhi. Hi, Nimisha. So Kashmir really is taking center stage in this second round of elections.
Well, definitely, Sumi. It's not just the second round. In fact, it's through this election that Kashmir is being talked about very closely. Polling in Kashmir is happening over 5 phases, and they actually decided against another level of elections in Kashmir because of security concerns. In Srinagar, in the capital, there's a heavy deployment of security. There's actually a virtual shutdown in the city, and because of separatist calls to boycott this election, many voters are concerned. So far, polling turnout in Srinagar itself has been low, while another constituency has seen a strong voter turnout. Kashmiris are voting, on the one hand, on the very strong BJP rhetoric, the BJP's Prime Minister Narendra Modi's party, to almost crack down on the freedoms that Kashmiris enjoy as of now, a special status for the state, while the opposition says that it will protect the status. So it's not just Kashmiris voting for their own status. All over India, voting will focus on the issue of Kashmir.
All right, so this has been a central talking point in the lead up to the vote. Tell us more about this election. You know, India is the world's largest democracy, and this is only the second of 7 stages of voting.
That's right, Sumi. Every time India goes to vote in a general election, it's the largest exercise in democracy in the history of the world, essentially. 7 phases, and from the first day of polling, people will actually have to wait 6 whole weeks to find out who the next Prime Minister is going to be. So logistically, it's a massive challenge. The requirement from the Election Commission is that voters should have access to a polling station within a 2-kilometer radius, and with 900 million people going to the vote, that is quite a task in itself. This is the second phase after 5 more phases, and May 19th will be the last day of polling, and just 4 days later, all 7 stages of elections, the numbers will be counted, and we'll find out if Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be given the national mandate again, or the opposition challenger Rahul Gandhi will be chosen by the country.
And Nimisha, you know, we've also seen social media really playing a big role in campaigning. Tell us more about that.
Well, Sumi, social media is definitely essential, because just coming back to the numbers, because this election is about numbers, just by the number of smartphone users have actually tripled since the last general election. 450 million users of smartphones in the country right now. Smartphone penetration has skyrocketed. India has the largest markets of WhatsApp and Facebook, and even the Election Commission has taken note. And for the first time, the Election Commission of India, which is basically the authority that monitors the election, is watching candidates' online behavior. So candidates have to toe the line the way they have to do in rallies and in offline advertising. For the first time ever in India's electoral history, we actually went down to the southern state of Karnataka to meet with one such young candidate who heavily uses social media to reach out to voters, to find out how he's appealing to the masses while also ensuring that he toes the line that the Election Commission is drawing.
This is Tejasvi Surya. He is a resident of the South Indian city of Bengaluru, a lawyer and an aspiring member of parliament. At 28, he is the youngest candidate from the ruling BJP to contest these elections. As temperatures soar above 35 degrees on this afternoon, Tejasvi goes out of his way to greet and acknowledge every constituent he sees. Each nod and wave is an appeal for votes. But despite the palpable excitement of supporters and party workers, the politician is, at best, reaching a few hundred over 3 sweltering hours. On Twitter, Tejasvi can reach over 100,000 followers in a flash.
Most of our young people today are hooked on to phones. Our telephone today, our mobile phone today, is a point of both consumption of information as well as entertainment. So the greatest political tool that we have today is the small smartphone in our hands.
Since the last national vote, smartphone usage in India has tripled to a staggering 450 million. Election authorities trying to ensure free and fair elections have taken note.
What's going to catch your eye here is the colourful truck behind me, which belongs to the BJP candidate who's holding an election rally. But no less significant is this red car to my right, which belongs to the Election Commission of India. The Election Commission closely monitors everything a candidate does, be it on rallies or in advertising. But for the first time ever in India's electoral history, the Election Commission of India is also watching what a candidate does online on social media platforms like Twitter and Facebook.
Policing the World Wide Web, however, is no easy task.
Social networking platforms such as Facebook, which offer a high degree of customization to their advertisers, which are again political parties, based off the personal information of its users in actually reaching them. So what you have is the perfect delivery mechanism for political messaging in India, which makes it incredibly powerful.
But social media can also be problematic. Tejaswi has been criticized for old tweets opposing reservations for women and supporting the BJP's Hindu nationalist agenda. He has even won a gag order on the media to prevent reporting on what he calls defamatory allegations. But now, a group of friends and supporters is hard at work to boost his online image. The content is kept young and peppy to resonate with Tejaswi's persona. Political cartoons like these, in addition, help directly establish Prime Minister Narendra Modi's support for the young candidate. The social media team must also ensure ethical content that follows official guidelines.
Social media is a double-edged sword. It works both ways. We are really not in control of what happens online. It's a vast user base. But whatever goes online from Tejaswi's account, that we can control.
Supporters, meanwhile, are too exuberant to be worried about privacy and fake news. But it is what happens online that may well decide this election.
So, Nimisha, we saw there how important social media is to candidates and to the parties. What impact is it having on voters?
Well, for me, many voters are definitely consuming what's coming off of social media, but it's actually how discerning a voter is that's going to be a challenge. Many voters are first-time social media users, and while the Election Commission is watching that the candidate toes the code of conduct line, which is basically not making communal statements, not making hateful statements, candidates have the option of using proxy pages. Parties can be pouring funds into pages that are not official pages, and that's why the Election Commission is not monitoring them. Another challenge is WhatsApp. WhatsApp has end-to-end encryption, so the Election Commission cannot monitor what goes out there, but voters are often susceptible to fake news that is widely circulated on WhatsApp. So it really comes down to how well voters are able to engage with social media content that not only the parties are putting out, but their proxies are putting out, to make sure they're making the right decisions, they're consuming what is being pitched as the hopes for the future of the candidates, while also rejecting what is clearly fake news.
All right, DW's Nimisha Jaiswal covering the ongoing Indian election for us there in Delhi. Thank you very much.